Hello to investors, the analysts, bankers, and the executives of Thai Union. I'm Gail Lee from Investor Relations, and I'll be your host for today. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Thai Union Rising Star PetCare session. Today we have with us three executives. The first is Mr. Thiraphong Chansiri, President and CEO of Thai Union Group. Hello, everyone. Mr. Thiraphong will be giving us the overview of Thai Union Group, and our second executive for today is Mr. Pichitchai Wongpiya, the Chief Commercial Officer of ITEL Corporation. Hello. Mr. Pichitchai will tell us about the industry and the operating results for ITEL Corporation. And our last executive is Mr. Roy Chan, who is the CEO of ITEL Corporation. Hello, everyone. And Mr. Roy will tell us about the supply chain for our pet care business and also an overview of ITEL Corporation. I would now like to invite Mr. Thiraphong to take things over. Thank you to all of the investors for joining us today. We have very happy news to share with you. Thai Union has never had the chance to present only our pet care business for you. And today, we'd like to take the opportunity to introduce the executives, the new executives who are overseeing our pet care business and our new organization, our new company, which we have set up. And we're going to share our plan with you to spin off this business. It's known as ITEL Corporation. And we plan to list it on the Stock Exchange of Thailand within the third quarter of next year. For the overall picture, you probably already know that our business, in terms of revenue, we've seen growth since 2000 all the way to 2016. And after that, our growth may have reduced a bit. But our goals for 2021, we're not expecting to see much top-line growth. We have 5%, that's our goal. But what is important is 5 years from now, we're going to try to improve our profit, especially in terms of our margin, to see better growth. And our overall gross profit and the percent for gross profit in terms of our organization overall. What is important that I'd like to share with you on this page is I'd like you to take a look at the gross profit margin. You can see this is the percentage, not the margin. These are the percentages of all of our gross profit. From 2020, our ambient seafood contributed 66%, and our pet food and value added contributed 27%. And their sales were only 15% of the overall profit for us. So we're going to unlock the hidden value in our group. And our pet care business has high growth potential, both in terms of profit and also the profit margin. Thai Union's key pillars since 2015, most important that supported our business growth was innovation and sustainability. In terms of innovation, we have three key pillars, namely science and research, technology and development, and innovation support. At the moment, we have established a research center or an innovation center for pet care since 2018. And this is supported by our Global Innovation Center as well. Let's have a look at our Global Innovation Center. We have over 113 scientists and engineers, 26 PhDs, and 50 master's degrees, or 44%. At present, we have 46 patents, and 72 patents are pending. And we have 5 trade secrets. So our investment in our innovation center is aimed at building a differentiation, diversifying ourselves, and adding value and improving the margin as well. As for tuna, we are utilizing every part of the tuna, whether it's the meat for human consumption, which is 48%, the loin. We have tuna oil, we have calcium, protein hydrolysate, and dark meat that we can also transform into premium pet food, as well as we're looking at cosmetic supplements, cooking juice, and we can even have beverages. The gills can be used to become palatants, to entice pets to enjoy the pet food and improve the flavor of the pet food. Our market approach along our value chain, the higher we get, the greater the value. And the market will become smaller as well. So that's why we see a pyramid here. We have co-products. In addition to our pet food, which will help increase value, we're going to develop products aimed at nutrition, and finally pharmaceuticals. And this will be the highest value and a growth area for high growth for both human and pet nutrition. We're talking about sports and food supplements. And these different products require a large amount of investment as well as technology. These are the highlights, which I believe you already know about, so I don't think I need to go into too much detail. But I'd like to take a look at the last box on the bottom right. We have a policy to unlock that Thai Union feed mill at the moment is in the process of being reviewed by the Securities Exchange Commission, and our ITO Corporation for PetCare business. We are at the moment being helped by a financial advisor so that we can list on the Stock Exchange of Thailand within the third quarter of next year. Red Lobster is another business in our plan that we hope to turn around within the next 3 to 4 years, and we plan to list Red Lobster as well in the New York Stock Exchange. Therefore, this is our plan in brief for Thai Union. And I'd like to tell the investors that ITO Corporation is a changing of names of the business that was formerly known as Songkla Canning. Songkla Canning has been renamed as ITO Corporation. And this is a platform for our businesses dealing with pet care. The executives for ITO, we have Cheng Nilutinanon, who is the executive chairman. We have Mr. Roy Chan, he's been with us for over 20 years, and he is now the CEO of ITL. Mr. Chai Wat is our CFO. Mr. Pichichai, he's been with us for over 30 years. And we also have Mr. Pon Chai, who is our senior vice president for the commercial area. This is our executive team who will focus on the pet care business. And so I'd like to hand things over to Mr. Pichichai. I'm Pichichai. Hello, everyone. I will tell you about the industry and our business. Our business, first of all, let's take a look at the cat and dog population in the world. In the past year, there were 370 million or so cats, and in 2025, it's expected to increase to 465 million. That's about a 4.4% growth per year. The country that has the greatest growth in cats is China, followed by the US. And for dogs, it was about 490 million population last year. And by the year 2025, we're looking at 572 million dogs. So the population for dogs will grow slower than cats, which is 3.2%. And China has the highest proportion of the dog population, followed by the US. In our pet care business, in the industry, the market value is about 150 billion US dollars. And about 40 billion is for cat food. About 66 billion is for dog food. And other pet food accounts for 4.1 billion. For instance, food for birds and rabbits and reptiles. And finally, pet products, which are non-food products. This accounts for about 43.4 billion US dollars. What you see on the right-hand side is the market size and the growth. In the middle, we expect growth to be at about $154 billion. The average growth per year is about 4 to 5%. And in 2020, when COVID-19 became a full-fledged pandemic and people were staying at home more, and therefore more and more people adopted pets. So the size of the market grew by 7%. But this year we expect it to be at 5% and to continue at 4 to 5% for the next few years. As I mentioned earlier, the pet market is about $154 billion. 43% is for dog food, cat food is 26%, and other pet products, non-food products, are 28%. If we look at pet food, 106 billion US dollars, about 40% of that is in North America, and a fourth is in Europe, and 15% is in Latin America, and Asia Pacific accounts for 12%. And the graph that you see on the right-hand side shows us that 6 years ago, the size of the markets per region, what were they like? We expect that 3 years from now, in Latin America and Asia Pacific, these will be the markets that will see high growth. Asia Pacific will be 27 billion in the next 4 years. The pet care market last year was at about $145 billion. And the growth is 4 to 5%. And we expect it to reach about $200 billion in 2026. Cat and dog food has its biggest market in the US, followed by Europe, Asia Pacific, and Latin America. But if we look at the graph, we can see that dog and cat food, the market will grow quickly in the Asia Pacific region and Latin America. Asia Pacific is the main driver is China. On the next slide, let's have a look at the channels for sales for pet food. E-commerce is the online channel that is the most important and has the biggest size and the greatest growth. Supermarkets and pet shops are also channels that are still important, that consumers buy pet food from. And the retailers are looking for innovative products, premium products. For instance, they want grain-free products, organic products, or they're looking for products that are use new processing methods such as freeze-dried or fresh or chilled. And they're looking for customized nutrition as well too, to cater to animals at different age groups. This slide, as Mr. Terpong mentioned earlier, in 1977, Thai Union set up its pet food business. We were already producing pet food over 43 years ago. It was simple though. We took the red meat from tuna and made it into pet food. But over the years, we have realized the importance of pet food. And in 2015, we set up a business unit for Global Pet Care, or GPC, that was responsible for operating all pet-related businesses for Thai Union Group. And so what innovations have we seen up until today? We are number one in the pet food production and exporting in Thailand. We're number two for pet food in Asia. And we're number 15 in the world. We have set up a Global Pet Care Innovation Center. It's one of our units. And we have launched new products and entered new markets. And we have expanded to 6 distribution centers in the US. At the beginning of the last month, you can consider it the birthday for iTail. We transformed Songkla Canning into iTail Corporation, Public Company Limited. And we're going to list in the Stock Exchange of Thailand next year. So what are the key takeaways for iTail Corporation? Our profit has grown by 9% on average. Last year it was 11%. Thanks to our new customers and new markets, our gross profit margin was quite high at 20 to 26% in the past 5 years. And our expertise is in wet-based pet food and also cat food. The proportion for revenue between cat and dog food is 85 to 15%, and most of our revenue comes from our private labels. We are planning to diversify markets, and we continue to. We have partnerships with renowned global pet food companies. We have business with almost every one of them. And the top 5 countries that we've diversified into are the US, Japan, Italy, Taiwan, and Germany. As for our strengths and opportunities, 2 months ago, we launched a premium dry pet food in Thailand. And our strength is in our innovative products with the life age segment. And our innovations are key to our continuous growth and sustainable growth. So the growth all over the world is 4 to 5%, as I mentioned before. And for ITL, over the past 4 or 5 years, we saw an average 9% growth. Last year, we achieved almost $400 million US. And our gross profit margin is at a satisfactory level. And our sales for last year, 45% was for North America, 32% in Asia, 20% in Europe. But if we take a look at the past 5 years, the market that has seen the highest growth is South America. Australia was 20%, South America is 46%. And the Asian zone is smaller. We're going to use innovation as a key driver. And our commitment to innovation is that we want to source and find nutritional benefits for pets throughout their life through innovation. And there are 3 stages. First of all, we depend on R&D first, which formulate and adjust the nutrition, the product itself, and the process to meet the customer's requirements. The next important ingredient to our success formula is our global pet care innovation team, which will continue to study and find the trends and technology for our innovations. We have a Concept 5 or a G5 to come up with products that are best suited for cats and dogs. Our raw materials and processes are continuously updated, and we aim for higher accuracy. And this is to formulate the best products that are most appropriate for cats and dogs at each stage of their life. And at the higher stage, at the group level, is our Global Innovation Center, or GIC, which is the core of our innovative differentiation. It's in-depth research of our raw materials, our processes, our packaging, so that we can continue to stay ahead of everyone. And what's going to happen in the very near future Just a second, please. We're changing the slides. We're ready now with the right slide. So coming soon will be our cattery facility. And what is a cattery? Some of you may never have heard of this. A cattery is an establishment to take care of cats. And our objective is to use this center to test our products on the cats, to have the cats try our products out. And this will happen next year. We're working with Mahidol University to put together a cattery facility. And it will become a knowledge center and learning center for veterinarians, and it will also create a veterinarian community. We're also working with Songkla University, the veterinary department, to create new products that are beneficial for pets. Other areas of strategic development are enzymes, digestive enzymes, whose market value is at about 800 million US dollars. And the growth is at about 8% on average. We're going to take the enzymes in our products, but the disadvantage is that in dogs, they need to be transformed so that they can be digested in the small intestines. We're looking at insect protein, and we're investing with several insect protein businesses. We're also looking at supplements. We're co-working, and we've signed a contract with a supplement company, but we can't reveal yet who this organization is. However, we can tell you that this is a leading organization in supplements. And plant-based protein is something that we continue to study. But plant-based protein, not all kinds of plant-based protein are good for pets because of the digestive system. Cats are carnivores, and if we give them vegetables, it could affect their digestive system. So this is something we need to continue to study. And finally, food as medicine is something else we're looking at. Pets have to take medicine when they're not well. And we're looking at how we can make it easier for pets to take medicine so that they don't have to be forced to take the medicine and they don't find the medicine not delicious. And we need to come up with medicines that can help take care of pets and treat them when they're sick. Many of you may have already received samples of our PetCare products. These are the products that are available. So many different brands. This is the cat products. And these are the dog food products. And we are producing these products for leading brands around the world. These are new products that we have created, and they're ready for sale. We call them cupcakes. And they look delicious, don't they? So if you're interested, let us know. We'll send you some samples for tasting, but of course, make sure that your pets taste them. These products were made for people who feel that they see the products and they think, oh, I can eat this, so my pets can eat it. So it's what is called humanization. These are products that we launched in 2021. We have our spoiled pate, and it looks very enticing. We have our vitamin cat drink. Cats are liable to become dehydrated, and this could lead to kidney failure. So we're trying to find ways to get cats to eat or to drink water, but enjoy it at the same time, and to also prevent kidney failure. And we have chicken chips that are they're modeled after Pringles potato chips for humans. We have a triple layer product. These have raw materials and textures that are different. And these are all our humanization products, so that the pet owners, when they give these products to their pets, they feel as if they're sharing something that they themselves would eat. And this is our own brand. It's called Changed Her. This is our cat and dog product, our cat mousse and dog snack bar. This is for joint and bones for dogs, because large dogs have joint problems. And these are our dry pet food products that were just launched a few months ago. Bellotta is dry cat food, and Marvo is dry dog food. Let's have a look at the innovations that we have in our pipeline. First of all, we have foam protein. If you go to a restaurant, I want you to imagine, and they serve molecular gastronomy food, and you'll see smoke sometimes or foam when your dish is presented to you. And this is the concept that we're trying to emulate. And we're using foam protein. It's protein hydrolysates that are easy to digest. They're good for kittens or puppies, or even senior cats and dogs. And on the left-hand side, you see no hide, raw hide. So I'd like you to imagine something that is a bone, a giant bone from a cow, for instance. These things are not good for a dog's digestion. So we created this product, but it's not made from any hide. All of the ingredients are from chicken. So there are no hides, there's no hide at all. And it's good for the dog's digestion. And on the right-hand side, you see insect protein. This is all natural and is also environmentally friendly because it was created under the circular economy concept. And we take the insect waste and the insects as well and turn them into alternative protein. And this is our enzyme or collagen hydration. Enzymes, the problem with them is that they cannot mingle with acid. So we want the enzymes to be absorbed in the small intestines. And we use encapsulation technology together with a leading university to produce this product so that the enzymes can be truly absorbed rather than the pets just eating and then that particular product not helping their system at all. Here are some other products in our pipeline. Infused gelatin. This is functional food that we've provided in a special form, gelatin form, to make it more attractive. There is bone broth. Our bone broth is extracted and is not made from bone powder, so the absorption will be high. And we have two-tone protein mousse. This is something we plan to launch next year under our own brand. So what I'd like you to see from this slide is the life stage of the cat. Cats have different stages in their life, from young to old. For instance, a 20-year-old cat is like a 96-year-old human being. If you're looking at a senior cat, then a senior cat needs protein that is easily digested. And that's how we look at pets and able to create products that are appropriate for them. And this is my last slide. Let's look at the future for pet care. Our business, we're looking at innovation, premiumization, and health living, and these are the keys to our market growth. And we believe that we will achieve a 12 to 15% growth in the years to come. And in the first half of 2023, we have a plan for capacity expansion of 30 to 40%. And innovation is extremely important to our business. So we will continue to work with our customers so that we can develop more innovative pet care products. And finally, our business is going to grow sustainably if we list in the Stock Exchange of Thailand, which we are targeting for next year. Thank you very much. Hello everyone, I'm Roy, and I'm going to use no more than 10 minutes to talk about the supply chain for pet care and for the organization. Let's take a look at the overall picture. You can see from this map that in our group of companies, whether it's in Asia, Europe, Africa, or America, we have our production facilities. And our production facilities are close to our fishing grounds, close to our raw materials. And our pet care facility is in Thailand. There are two of them. You can see on this map the iTail logo. Thai Union's supply chain is different from others. There are two factors that make us different that I'd like to share with you. One is vertical integration. There are not many companies that have their own canning facility or their own paper label production, and we at Thai Union have both. In addition to this, our supply chain also gives importance to environmental impact, whether it's in terms of greenhouse gas emissions, water consumption, or landfills. Compared to our baseline in 2016, we achieved reductions over 5 years. We had significant decrease in greenhouse gas emissions by 28%, 26% reduction of water consumption, and 70% for waste to landfill. If we focus on our facilities that produce pet food, we have two places, both in Thailand. Per year, we're able to produce 85,000 tons or 85 million kilograms. We have production facilities in Samut Sakhon and Songkhla, and we're going to consolidate Songkhla. Songkhla is going to be transformed 100% into a pet food production facility. And Samut Sakhon is going to be dedicated. One small factory in Samut Sakhon is going to focus only on pet care and pet products. So we are transforming our global pet care business unit into iTail Corporation. If we take a look at Thai Union, many of you may think of tuna or shrimp, but our raw materials that we use for pet food, aside from tuna and shrimp, are other premium products or other premium raw ingredients like salmon, lobster, and our land-based ingredients are chicken, duck, turkey, we also have meat, beef, a lamb. Aside from our ingredients, we also have ingredients produced by our own companies. One of those is the bone calcium powder, or tuna bone calcium. Why do I say it's our very own product? It's because of the technology that is a technology that has been patented by our Global Innovation Center at Thai Union. And what are the benefits of calcium? Many of you know that calcium, you think of milk. If I present information to you to help you, concrete information to help you understand, 90 grams of calcium is equal to 2.7 glasses of calcium and 1.4 glasses of whole milk, respectively. So we deliver high levels of calcium through our products. And these are natural sources of calcium as well. Another ingredient that I would like to present to you is our insect protein that was mentioned earlier by Mr. Pichichai. Our insect protein, whether it's the carbon footprint or in terms of water or the feed, as well as the area, it's very sustainable compared to other livestock. And this is in line with our sustainability focus to lower the environmental impact. I'd also like to share our abilities in terms of manufacturing. Mr. Pichichai did mention humanization, and I'd like to talk about this topic further. And I have 3 examples for you. You'll see here soft serve ice cream on the left-hand side, and we use this to create a product that we already have in the market. It's a swirl pate. What's special about this product? Well, I'd like to congratulate our team for being able to come up with this product and launch it. Another example of humanization is our triple layer product. In our own company, we call it a hamburger. And you can see the humanization through this product, like the layered cake. So we use true, tangible products that humans themselves consume to come up with ideas for pet care products. And the last slide for me is the potato chip concept, which we used to create chicken-based chips for pets. It's the same concept as potato chips, and we believe that this is one way for us to enter into to increase our dry pet food products too. And that's the end of the product presentation for me. I'd like to thank all of our executives, and it's now time for our Q&A. If any investors or analysts have questions, you can turn your microphone on, or you can type your question in the chat box. I'm Patadon from Thanachat, and I'd like to ask 2 questions. The first question is, you mentioned that the strength of Thai Union is the innovation of products. I understand that if we look at the players, key players, everyone is focusing on R&D, but could you tell us what products do they look at? The products or the prices? What makes the customers decide which company to buy from? What makes us superior to our competitors? Does Pichichai have anything to answer? And I will help add on. I believe that, like in the slide that I talked about R&D, This is a foundation for us to create products to meet the needs and requirements of our customers. At a deeper level, we have our innovation team, and at the corporate level, we have our innovation center. And when we create innovations so that we can differentiate ourselves, but we're able to get a patent for our innovations. And I think that this is what makes us different, that gives us a competitive advantage. And I'd like to add to that as you can see, the pet care market is very large. And for Thai Union, we have claimed that we are experts in wet-based products and seafood-based, as well as chicken and our other products. So this is a space where we have a superior ability. And the tuna canned food in Thailand, we're an expert. We're the biggest in Thailand. And a third point is that we've been doing this business, the pet care business, for 43 years. We have partners, for instance, Nestle and Mars, who have market share together of 50%. And we have worked with them and learned from them and have developed different products, so many different products over the 43 years that we've done this business. And lastly, I'd like to remind you that our company in 2014, or perhaps before that, we set up a USPN in the United States, and we invested in meat-based products, and we have executives who are ex-Nestle. They come from R&D, for instance, and that is something that has allowed us to move from just regular products to functional foods for the specific life stages. And I think this is our strength. It's not just anyone who can do these things. And we have invested in innovation for so many years now, and we are one of the few companies that has a global innovation center only for pet food. And these are the strengths that will allow us to continue to be a leader in this particular area. And I'd like to add one other question. The goal for growth for pet care in the future is about 10% per year. I understand that in the industry, it will grow at about 5%, but we're going to grow at 10%. So the 5% that's left will have to come from gain share, right? Could you explain gain share here and provide details? Where will this come from? For instance, we have to target customers, new customers, or can we sell to current customers? Or is there the need for a pricing effect? The volume may not be growing much, but we can sell at a higher price, perhaps. I'd like to answer this question covering 2 or 3 points. As Mr. Tirpong said, Nestle or Mars, who are the market leaders, they have plans to grow their business, the pet food business in particular, at 7%. So that is their plan for growth, to grow bigger than the market even. And in America, which is the biggest market right now, there are wet pet food manufacturers in small numbers, not many of them, and they're all meat-based. So the opportunity here for ITAL Corporation is quite large, quite wide. And another point is the private labels our business is not fully engaged in private labels. At the moment, it's only 10% for private labels. So this is also another area that has a lot of room for growth. I'd like to ask from Thanachart. Let me add to that answer first, please. The market that we're not in yet, or we have small penetration at the moment, is in China. And China is where we're going to focus more and more. And China is a new market for pet care because the population has more money, more spending money, and also more higher education. And we're going to see a change from people using leftovers to give to their pets to actually buying processed food for their pets. So we're going to see a growth from standard to premium foods more and more. I'm Ong from Thanachart, and I'd like to ask, like Kuntirpong told us in the beginning, the market share, we have Mars and Royal Canin, for instance. Nestle is doing Purina, and that they account for about half of the market. But there are smaller players like Colgate, which does huge-sized diet, and 40%, which is the fragmented market. In the global arena, what are we looking at in terms of the market? There are not many brands left. There's Mars and Purina, there's Colgate, and they're going to squeeze us in the market because we're doing ingredients for them. Or will the market be more localized and we can be a premium provider of ingredients for the fragmented market, which is about 40%? And another question for you. Mr. Tirpong talked about China. I understand that for China, over the past few years, it's grown by 5 to 6%. And there's also Asia Pacific, and there's penetration of pet ownership, which is quite low there. If we come into Asia, will it be mass? Will they be willing to pay for a premium innovation that we're planning to launch there to support the growth that you're targeting? And if we look at the margin side, how much room is there? Thank you. You have to understand that, of course, Mars and Nestle, they are global companies and global brands, and they have plans to grow. But the other market, the other 50% of the market or 40%, it is fragmented, but there are players that are blocking one another. And our product development, if we launch in the markets, if we can patent our products and our ideas, then we have nothing to fear. We don't have to worry that someone will try to steal our ideas. That will be something that will be difficult with a patent. And the pet food market is becoming more and more premium. If you look at a pet food can in the United States, it's more expensive than canned tuna that humans buy for themselves. Nestle and Mars, the market share is 50% for the entire world, but not every market in the world has been conquered by Nestle and Mars. There are tier 2, there's like Blue Buffalo, there's Colgate, there's Schmuckers, and other private labels and supermarkets. Everyone wants to expand into the pet food market. In Japan, they have Unicharm, and other brands. And in Japan, Nestle and Mars are not champs like they are in America and Europe. In China, we don't even have to talk about China. In China, there are so many local players. So I believe that market domination will not be easy. Pet food is not like human food. Pet food relies on innovation. And we have various formulations thanks to our technology. Customers will not be able to squeeze us in any area. And they will be benefiting from the products more than we will. There's no reason for others to demand so much from suppliers. We have our R&D, we have our innovation, and what we've done is we have a strong base, 43 years. It's not that we just became successful in the last 5 years. We have a solid track record that should help you feel reassured. And I'd like to add to those answers. There was a question about the Chinese market. I'd like to add some information. The Chinese market for dogs and cats is a market equal to $6 billion in 2019, and it saw a over 20% growth. And China is a very, very fragmented market. The leader, there is no clear leader in China. And there are several manufacturers in pet food, but they are focused more on dry food for pets. Do we have a competitive advantage? I believe we do. And LATAM, for that region, the biggest market is Brazil. This is a very interesting market, but it's not easy to penetrate. Whether it's Nestle or Mars, these are not the leaders in Brazil. Brazil is a country that has a 40% import tax on pet food. So the leader is a local company, and we believe that we can use a different strategy to penetrate that market. Thank you for the dogs, for the Paso brand. And in Thailand, we are seeing market growth, substantial market growth, and more premium products as well. There's a chat box question about the margin in the next few years. What will the trend be like? Is our policy to retain a net profit margin at 15 to 18% from this point forward, 3 to 5 years into the future. And we believe that our top line will grow at about 12 to 15%. This is our goal. Our net margin is what we can already achieve. It's not something that we have not achieved yet. We want to maintain this net margin. And what about the trends for the next few years? Are we going to be an OEM or a private label producer? Or will we grow with our own brands? This is another policy of ours. In the next 3 to 5 years, our vision is to be a strategic global partner for pet food, together with global brands all around the world, using innovation and sustainability as our key pillars. We do not want to acquire any brands. We believe that the current position that we have is one that can help us deliver satisfactory profit. And here's another question about margin. What are the key drivers that will propel the margin forward? You have gross profit and operating profit margin that are already at a satisfactory, a very good level. As I mentioned earlier, we don't expect, let's not talk about gross margin, let's talk about the net margin. Our goal is already very high and at a satisfactory, a sufficient level. We want to maintain our net profit at this level. And the next question is, who are our key competitors in terms of pet food? In Thailand, we have a greater advantage because of our location to the seafood. Seafood-based pet food in Thailand is an important manufacturing base for the entire world. And so our competitors are the other manufacturers here in Thailand. If we look at a global scale, we export to America, Germany. But you need to understand that the nature of the product is different. In some countries, in Australia, there's a lot of export, but it might be dry-based foods. Therefore, in this space, I believe that our main competitors are not many manufacturers here in Thailand. And if we look at the global pet food market, as Mr. Pichai said, $150 billion. iTail has sales of 400 million US dollars. So I believe that there's a lot of room for growth for us to expand. Could you please tell us, after the company has been changed to iTail, the 85,000 tons, is that the complete capacity? You're going to close down the Songkhla canning facility, or could you tell us about the two facilities? 85,000 tons, or 85 million kilograms. We're going to add our production capacity. There was one slide that you saw earlier. In 2023, in the first half, we're going to increase 30 to 40%, increase the production capacity to 30 to 40%. So the 85,000 tons will increase by 30 to 40%. Could you also tell us, perhaps I don't have enough knowledge in this area, can you tell us about the wet and dry market? Dry is probably easier. And also, what about the profit? And what about the negotiating power or bargaining power with customers? As I mentioned earlier, dry food for iTail, this is something new for us. We've only been in this business for a couple of months because we have grown from a wet-based expertise. Dry pet food has a smaller margin than wet-based food for pets. But the market all around the world, dry is a bigger market than wet-based foods because it's easier to give to pets. You can leave it out all day long, but if it's wet-based foods, you can't leave it out because if you put it out in the morning, it could be spoiled in the evening. So the dry foods are cheaper, and that's why the market is bigger than the wet-based food market. Dry pet food is a volume-based market. And if you go to a pet store, you'll see that there are giant bags of dry pet food, but for wet-based food, you'll see them packaged in small cans and small bags. We are looking to increase our profit in this area, but it's going to be premium products. And it's not only food products that we're looking at. We're also looking at pet snacks, pet treats, pet supplements. And you will be seeing more and more of these products. If you don't have a lot of knowledge about the pet products, all you have to do is go to a pet store to see what they have. And I have one more question. You mentioned the U.S. pet market. Today, for U.S. pets, what are they doing? Could you tell us about the U.S. pet market? U.S. Pet is our sales arm in the U.S. market. All we have is sales there. We closed the factory already. We only have factories in Thailand. And we don't see the need to have a factory abroad. When we had our factory in the U.S., that was because we wanted to produce meat-based products, but USPM is a sales office for ITEL Corporation. ITEL has a sales office in America and the most recent branches in Japan. And we hope that our partnership with them will help us serve the market faster. I'm Om from Thanachart again. I'd like to understand the market penetration. There's Nestle, there's Colgate. What about us? How do we position ourselves? Are we the ingredients, or maybe we focus on fragrance and flavor? Perhaps we want to introduce products that have production technicalities. And if we have patents, for instance, the triple layer product, can we cross competitors? Can we sell it to other brands? Are there any limitations? If we have the patent, then we have the power to decide how to design the business. The first question is how are we going to enter the market? We actually can go in any form. We are flexible. ITEL is an all-in-one business that has high flexibility, packaging variety to the highest degree, whether it's cans, pouches, plastic cups, sachets. We have all of these packaging forms. So we have the ability. And I'd like to add that about ingredients and flavor and fragrances, this is an area where we are interested, and in terms of investment, this will be one area where we will look for a partner that has expertise in this area to support our production and enable us to build even greater variety and differentiation. Nestle and Mars are competitors. We may be able to share certain things, but in terms of products, the products will need to be different. And this is the charm of this business. We have to make things different, but we might use the same production platform. And this is a tactic to dealing with our partners and competitors. Another question from the chat box is about the production capacity. Will it be in Thailand, or are you looking to expand abroad? It's going to be in Thailand. We have Samut Sakhon as our location. Someone also asked whether we need to set up production facilities abroad, because our investors have always followed our tuna business. In terms of pet food, what makes us different is that we don't have any problems with the import tax, except for certain regions like Latin America. So if there is no issue with the import duty, then having our production facility in Thailand is perhaps the best plan. We don't have any plans to set up production abroad for pet food. And for the products, are we going to focus on cats and it's going to be wet-based? Is that right? And could you also tell us about the cat and dog food, the price for premium products? How is it different? Could I have the question again, please? In expanding your production capacity, are you going to focus on wet-based cat food? And the second question is cat and dog food. The prices for these foods, how are they different? What are we focusing on? Our production capacity expansion that we mentioned in our slides will be on wet-based food. Dry pet food is something we're also looking at. If we need to increase production in that area, we'll have to look again what it will need to be. As for cat and dog food prices, it depends on the formulation. It depends on the ingredients, the raw materials. It's not that one is more expensive than the other. And we have our last question. This is about the partnership with other organizations. Who are we going to partner with? And will the specialized knowledge be, are we going to use our specialized knowledge in supplements? Is there a joint venture with Interfarmer? Can this be used for iTail as well? This is our plan. We plan to use the ingredients that are beneficial, whether it's supplements, like I mentioned earlier in the presentation. We are working with one of the regional leaders. And this organization, if I were to mention the name, you would know immediately who we're talking about. We're in close cooperation with this organization to produce products with various beneficial ingredients. And into pharma, we are talking with them to co-produce products as well. I think the investors forgot to ask about hemp. We are looking at applying this to our pet products to help with the digestion function or sleeping. Pets and people are similar. They're not exactly the same, but they have some similarities. Are there any more questions? I'm Patadon from Thanachart, and I'd like to ask about the OEM business. In general, they have customers negotiate for lower prices. Is this something that we are facing? And how do you maintain the margin if you get requests for price lowering? Whatever business it is, we will have customers negotiating with us for lower prices. So this is one of the things that we deal with in business on a regular basis. We talked about innovation, and we believe that, for instance, a second ago we talked about the supply chain. We have vertical integration, and we have our scale that is not just for pet care, but it's also human food production at our facilities. Our scale is one that can help us deal with these issues. And I'd like to add a bit. I'd like you to don't think about the tuna or the shrimp. Pet food business is FMCG. It deals with formulation, the recipe, and our strength is in the formulas that we put forth, ones that are not available elsewhere, ones that can't be compared to anything else out there. So whether people rather than wanting to buy our product because it has cheaper prices, while we wait for Mr. Tirpong's signal to get better, let me add that this is something we need our NDB and our product development to help us grow and be different. The Blue Buffalo brand in the United States is one that is premium, and it's in supermarkets. It's not in supermarkets. It's in pet shops. It's in pet specialty stores. Before that, Blue Buffalo did not have its own production facility, and that means that they were relying on OEMs to achieve the growth that they have and to become so premium. So the fact that the various brands are looking for OEMs, this is an asset, it's a value for branded companies. I'd like to add a little bit to that. And I'd like to first to focus on what we're doing aside from the products. NPD and innovation, we mentioned again and again. Our category is going to be established by next year. And you can look at this as an extra service and an extra strength to solidify our position. Sales. The next question is about sales, about the products, the ones that you have patented. What portion of the sales do the patented products account for? If we look at the overall picture, our innovative products are at about 15 to 18%. And there's another question about the production expansion of 30 to 40%. How much money will that require? And is it going to be setting up a new facility altogether, or is it to deal with bottleneck? We have CapEx funds prepared, a significant amount, and this is going to support our production. We're going to build another facility in Samut-Sakhon. There are no other questions at the moment. Would Mr. Tirpong like to say something before we end the meeting? I'd like to thank all of the investors for joining us today and the analysts for joining us today. We hope that you found the presentation interesting and that this will help prepare you to analyze ITAL in the future. And we're going to be listing, as we said, next year. And this is a major area of interest for us. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Thank Thank you, everyone.